YouTube, we have more Kamen Rider for you. Hope you enjoy. Video will be linked in the description down below. And I hope you have another one for today. Other than that, let's lock in. Damn.
In today's video, I remind you that Nago is the best written female writer in the Reiwa era. At least that's what I think. These three exhibits will display the highs and lows of our girl's career, and even though she doesn't get enough dubs in my opinion, I still feel her story shines through, and low-key, that's just a problem I feel third writers always have in stories. But enough about that, hit the like and subscribe and let's get started. This is Nago, aka Neon Kurama. She's a streamer whose very rich family runs the Kurama Finance Group, because of which they are very strict, like very strict, and it all stems from her getting kidnapped on her birthday when she was younger. Hold on to that, because we're gonna have to come back to that thought. Because of which, her entering the DGP is more about her finding freedom, using the find my true love wish as part of said freedom. After all, being able to live how you want includes choosing who you want to love and stuff like that. The first moment we see this liberation is during one of the earliest games in the series, a 3-round zombie survival that sees her getting ambushed by that loser ass young nigga until she gets a free save from Geets. In the process of this, she turns out to be bitten and is slowly going through the Resident Evil process, or biohazard if you want to be a dick about it. When the final wave hits and rises towards its climax, Nago makes a dynamic entry and soon the game really begins. Rather than be a bitch like Devon who just lets it happen and participates in being a zombie, she instead fights for not only her life, but her freedom. She's also running off the hope that since the world's always reset after every game, if she beats this before the infection takes over, then she'll be fine too. And as she starts clearing the board with headshots, she decides to grab that boost buckle and take it to the next level. Now for anyone who's new to Geets or not sure how to describe the boost buckle in simple terms, think of it kind of like the X Factor from Marvel vs. Capcom 3, or like Sparking Glass from Fighters. It gives a user a big boost of power, pun intended. Hey, she puts that shit on with a regular schmecular buckle, so the power boost, pun intended, is just enough for her to start putting in work. You don't believe me? Watch this shit.
She's really good.
Now boosted, Nago displays both a cat's grace and fury, as well as her ability to effectively cooperate, with the latter skill being the much more important to cultivate for the sake of the series. Eventually, the zombie debuff kicks in, but this only stumbles our girl, giving her time to pick the self-affirmation dialogue, which apparently was the right choice to get Geeks to jump in with a level 2 assist. Now with everything in place, our girl switches gears, make a big ol' ass hammer, and with the last of her X Factor drops the nastiest level 3 finish.
That is what? That's so crazy.
Now, two things.
So she like
number one,
so like her hammer is like I don't even know if it was like wind, but actually it did some like ground, like earth damage too, you know, like some type of like wind earth based hammer. Crazy.
I don't know about you, but this is the third lady writer intro fight that I've covered that's pretty much just a level from a Muso game. Jean still has my favorite as it's pretty much an aggressive ass speed run, but Nago's entire showing feels earnest. We don't need her to know any martial arts, we just need her to get back up and fight for her desire to live. And number two, I love this as her opening squabble with Japan because it opens up the dialogue of something I personally like to call winners and losers. And bear with me because I'm gonna have to put on my unk cap for this one and put y'all up with some IRL game. From my personal experience, life gives you two types of pimps, winners and losers. If you're feeling attacked right now, just think of it as a cup half full versus a cup half empty. Anyway,
Yeah.
winners usually feel that there is a point to whatever they're going through. Most good things in this world aren't free, so things that you truly want are things you're gonna have to work for. Despite
True.
having setbacks, hiccups, and even negative results, it doesn't deter them from getting back up and trying again, the every L is a lesson type of mentality. Losers, on the other hand, think once the point, as each and every inconvenience that happens acts as their excuse to be negative or be vindictive. As the
True.
setbacks, hiccups, and even negative results transpire, they use this as fuel to give up and progressively spread that negativity towards others around them. You know, by saying all this, I'd be dumb not to say that there are real things that happen to people that are just so messed up that it's just impossible to ignore, like getting terrible medical news or like the loss of a loved one. But it's
Yeah.
how we choose to react and recover from this that decides how we face
He's
the world
spitting
from then
for
on.
real.
Japan wanted the world to end because he couldn't play basketball no more. He didn't even think about making a world where he could just hoop forever. He just went straight to shitty doomer mode, and as a result, he became a person who wanted to spread as much negativity as he could because he was in a bad place. Our girl was able to make it
Crazy,
because
girl.
she has the courage of taking a
That's a crazy thing to do, is to crash out just because you can't play basketball anymore.
chance and getting back up when she's knocked down. And real talk, I challenge you, yeah nigga, you watching this video right now, to do the same. Your hard work and dedication to whatever you're applying yourself to will pay off, but you gotta get up when you get knocked down and learn why you got knocked down in the first place. But hey,
He's spitting
this
for
isn't
real.
the path of heaven, Lambo's guide to being a better person video, so we're just gonna move on to the second exhibit. Since the series has several seasons of the DGP throughout its 49 episode run, we use that time to see Nago growing more and more through the series of ups and downs. One particular roller coaster comes by way of the Yamato Grand Prix, but to get there, we gotta talk about the beat buckle.
Much
Alright.
later.
If you watched the show, then you remember the first DGP was won by Ace, and the second one is set up immediately afterwards, with some familiar faces and some new ones added in. The first game is Protect the Flag with Partners, and our girl shows up as an extra contestant and shows up conveniently when the last lady contestant is defeated. She shows up with a new
Crazy.
buckle at the time, and she puts that shit on to join the game.
Yeah.
The greatness, the awesome
Yeah,
sauce, the
yeah.
quest of ingenuity.
After dropping one of the hardest bars in the series, she starts the Courage melody and proceeds to get her show started. By playing a cold guitar solo that she uses to gain the Funky Blizzard buff,
Now this is when I found her, and this is when I fell in love with her character, cause like I'm not gonna lie to you, her fit, the character, fire. That's all I gotta say. It's like this is the point where I'm like, damn, I really want to know more about this character, and I love it. I want to go do it, and I love it, you know.
she then gets
Alright,
the
let's lock
slapping Yamato like she's got a hunting horn. After
Mm.
striking all 11 of them with that said buff, she's able to CC them into one spot, and doing either her best Eno
So
from
fire,
Guilty Gear
bro.
impression or Luna Snow from Marvel Rivals, she's able to drop 3 meters of pack watch in that ass.
Fucking love it.
This reintroduction and subsequent first appearance works in many ways for Nago's character arc and growth, but what I love the most about this is the flash of her courage/confidence. Very important trait to have in the DGP after all. Beat
Yeah.
being a large type raised buckle that is compatible with Nago serves as a combination of both her streamer and writer identities. Her songs of Ice and Fire and other melodies project her recently found determination to fight, not only to live, but for her dreams, and it truly helps her feel like she's in her element. See what I did there? And once again, this
Crazy.
just puts her back into the game with a stronger desire to win and get her dream. This means that she will play a more important role in the story from then on. This also allows her to scale properly with the boys, as she can also swap hands with Yamato riders. Now, quick tangent. In storytelling, it's important for characters to have a sense of urgency in accordance with the plot, as it's a great way to convey your character's minds, moods, and attitudes. And in this section of the story, Nago is quite proactive. With the experience of the first DGP under her belt, she started using her streaming resources to help her make moves more in the game. Her teamwork synergy becomes top-notch, and she displays the most important trait, in my opinion, the awareness of her skill level. Yes, this comes off mostly as ace glazing, but let's put ourselves in her shoes for a second. Ace is the only person you know who has won the DGP several times, and because of the 2 you've been in, you have the additional information that this nigga possibly saved the world a bunch of times. And when it was your turn, your main hitter was a purple nigga who loses, then gets upset that he couldn't be like Ace. Can you really be mad at them for that? But as I said earlier, her awareness and her use of resources helps her progress. With the best example of this was using her dad's pool.
I just don't know why that made me laugh, but like, I don't know. Can you really be mad at that? I don't know. It was just funny to me for some weird reason.
As a DGP sponsor, shocker I know, to get herself, Kawa, and Ace to advance to the 3rd DGP after jumping Girori and getting him fired. From there on, it's just a bunch of episodes of her changing and developing while holding the mantle of the tertiary writer, during which we see more of her deceitful side in order to win said DGP, while also meeting her sponsor, who drops some foreshadowing I want you to also hold on to. By the time Shiarmi gets the vision driver stolen, she realizes that her strength and or success doesn't come from just her, but from everyone who believes in her. This deters the whole being a lying ass bitch to get what I want act gets laid to the wayside. She then locks in, becoming more of her authentic self and a true Kamen Rider during the JGP, until karma comes back and bites her in the wildest way possible.
Much later,
we arrive at yet another round of the JGP, and this just so happens to be Nago's birthday. This round of the Grand Prix is one of those one-on-one squabbles, but we know it's made by Beruba, so some flavor of bullshit is mixed in all of this. Due to said bullshit, Kawa loses the first round, and Nago is up to go second, while discovering Kyun's identity up until the fight. When the time comes, Ace actually takes Nago's place for the second round, and puts belt to ass to both Yamatos in the video we've already covered. Since Nago was supposed to go instead of Ace, it halts Beruba's first plan of getting an easy no-round brown. But let us never forget, she's an awful so she can freestyle her cruelness, and she activates her trap card, bitch assness, in the middle of the second round.
flashback.
So remember when I told you Neon's family was super strict because she was kidnapped when she was younger? Okay, let me tell you what really happened. 11 years prior to the series, a young girl named Akari Kurama died in a kidnapping accident where her captors didn't get their ransom. This naturally destroys her mother and father both emotionally and mentally, and when given a chance to have it all back in exchange for being a sponsor to the DGP, they're allowed to have their wish: to make their ideal daughter Neon. That all means that Neon never originally existed, like she wasn't born like a normal person. She is just a replacement child created by the power of the goddess, aka Ace's brace-face mom. Beruba tells the whole JGP what I told you, and shit starts getting sad for Nago. Like, it's sad, it's a sad Toku show. Now, with the knowledge that she was constructed by the wish spell in order to fuel her father's agenda, the instant hate wave that comes from most of the audience, and the person who promised to be there always isn't there, this puts Nago in a very fucked up mental state before the final round. Because, you know, it's hard to get your head in the game when you're A, having an identity crisis, and B, not Troy Bolton, so you ain't got no song to sing about. To make matters even worse, Nago is just abducted to the third round, just so Beruba can twist the knife in some more. We respect women here on this channel, but Beruba, that bitch has got to go. Anyway, we start the final round, and it begins with Nago instantly on the back burner, getting slapped up by the Yamato immediately. It doesn't help that this Yamato in particular is very tough, as we've seen this type, albeit slightly different, fight a stronger Yeats and Buffer in a 2v1 we've already covered. And I say that to say that even though she does put that shit on, she's still having a hard time with the Yamato QTEs, and eventually gets knocked out of her rider form. As her streaming with Amy Winehouse looks imminent, Kyun shows up, does some tier 3 simping, and puts that shit on himself, giving her the boost buckle in order for her to get back on her feet. Also, this nigga is a big ass lion. I honestly don't have any jokes for that. I just think that shit's kind of raw. It's beautiful, it's touching, and now we finally get to the real fight.
I don't know if this means something to you. But it means something to me.
Now boosted and locked in, Nago is covering ground like it's nobody's business. With Kyun giving that kind of support that makes me want to queue up with him in Marvel Rivals, Nago is able to get her get back and then some against this Yamato. Entering the final phase of this fight, Nago rides Kyun and turns his gun into a gun lance and charges forward. Hey, that's 2 Monster Hunter references already. The Yamato retaliates by making a Waymon, but through the power of love, friendship, and self-confidence, Nago makes a way. This storyline is so cool and so fucked up for so many reasons, so let's just talk about the obvious ones. Number 1, the fact that Timefire used his first daughter's death to close his heart, fuel his work agenda, and wish for an ideal daughter to serve his political schemes is both the most fucked up / Gundam plotline shit I've ever heard. Number 2, he then named his said wish daughter after the
before I was interrupted by the commercial that popped up on me, I was gonna say so true. Shoot, I know, cause I literally watched every single Gundam anime, movie, had to watch it, like had to. I fucking love Gundam. But other than that, speaking of that, you know what? We should definitely do some Gundam videos. You know what I mean? Go ahead and see some cool stuff.
The first one, because the name Akari can be translated into many ways based on how it's used in Japanese, but for our sake, we need to know that it translates to the word light. Meanwhile, Neon's name is based on neon lights. You know, the manufactured lights that people use mostly during business. And number 3, he made her birthday April Fool's Day?
Come on now, dawg. Come on, man.
Crazy.
It's a fucking triple sack of sad shit, and it's a fantastic way to shake up Nago's character. This is way more complicated than the simple "you're adopted" story trope, and once the cat's out of the bag, pun intended, it's a personal burden Neon has to struggle with until she works through it. Neon leaves this fight forever changed. She no longer feels like she deserves the love and adoration of her fans, so when the next DGP starts, her wish isn't true love, but for people to forget she even existed. And I can't blame her. In fact, after that fight, she's just out of the story for a few episodes. Not gone from it completely, but just for the rest of the JGP. This means she misses the part where Michi becomes a Rider Destroyer, but Bedaba's bitch ass forces our girl back into the game. So when she starts Desire Royale with Keiwa's sister, she's in a place where I like to call the tertiary debacle. In Nago's case, that just means at a certain point in this series, she moves the plot more out of suit than in suit, doing less and less from a fighting standpoint. So until the plot needs her for real, she's just bonding and jobbing with Keiwa's sister until both of them get eliminated at the same time by Buffa. When she pops up again, Geets is Rider Jesus, and Keiwa is in his Darth Tycoon phase. So this means it's her turn to get something.
2 fire fucking fits, by the way. I just want to say that one more time. Those fits are fucking fire. Heat. I'm telling you. Heat. Look how good they look, bro. Damn. The white, the gray, the orange, just
And
beautiful.
our final exhibit.
Beautiful.
Fun fact, this exhibit happens alongside the final exhibit of the Tycoon video, as both of these events coincide with one another. At this point, Timefire is in jail for big CEO-styled crimes, and since the DGP is under new management, his hands are pretty much out of the future cookie jar. Meanwhile, Keiwa finally makes his wish to revive all the folks clapped in the entirety of the DGP franchise, like all of them, regardless of their moral standings and all that other stuff. So Keiwa just so happened to revive some of the most vile niggas of the DGP, as one of them freed Kurama from jail while causing destruction in the city. My bad, y'all probably like, who is Kurama? I meant Time Fire, my bad. Neon manages to save him and drops a lot of profound shit on him and leaves him questioning what he's really doing with his life. You normally figure this shit out in your lowest moments, I guess. We then discover, because of Beruba, the guy who kidnapped and killed Akari is now free and goes and kidnaps Neon to be a repeat offender. The letter goes to her parents and it's deja vu all over again. The difference now is that Timefire actively prays to God in order to give him the strength to save his daughter. Geets gives him a driver and he ends up rescuing her while getting fucked up in the progress. More family bonding happens and Timefire gives Nago his ID core just in time for her to intercept Beruba, who's there to kill Timefire and the rest of her family. Though normally a person can't use the ID core of someone else, Nago quite literally has the power of God in her corner, and by simply believing in him, he allows her to make the impossible possible. Then, she puts that shit on.
Fucking heat. Heat, yup. Yup.
As Beruba is flabbergasted by this transformation, Nago starts planning her much needed get back and the fight starts with the two swapping hands. Beruba manages to blast Nago with her future blick but learns the hard way that Nago's got substitution jutsus. Nago continues to flex by showing her new Shadow Cat powers and kicking the shit out of Beruba, who tries to chase her down. Then, my favorite part of this fight.
Alright.
It's not looking good, Bev. It's not looking good.
Watching Beruba get her ass whooped in this show is one of the most satisfying things, and Nago has been making sure to put belt to ass and styling on her for the entire fight. In fact, it feels like she's been in training mode, labbing her ass off for this exact moment. I don't know how, it just feels like it. And when she hits her buckle again, I knew she was ready to wrap this shit up. I thought she only had 5 bars of meter, but nah, she was at max, cause she lands a metered trap claw combo, and then that turns into a metered hill drop, and finally, she dumps 5 meters of pack watch in that ass.
Strike! That shit gas. Fucking gas. So crazy. Ain't no fucking way. Bruh, hold up. This is the look. This look. Fire. Fire. Fire.
I like this form and this moment a whole lot. Fantasy is a really cool and powerful form, and it's the form that represents Nago's belief in herself, Ace, and her duty as a Kamen Rider. And this isn't something she just thought about for a moment. No. She's been thinking about this Kamen Rider duty thing for a while. The mirage effects, the magical weapon projections, and the phasing is a combo for devious mix-ups, and it not only makes the fantasy final form not only look powerful, but match that feeling in design and aura. But I gotta talk about it. I can't not talk about it. Why in the fuck does Fantasy not have any goddamn pants? The only logical reasons I can think of is for her mobility and suit budgets. Since she has the fight team that does the most jumping, ducking, dipping, and dodging, it makes sense for the suit to be made with less material on the legs so she can move around more. Though Ace and Tycoon also get new forms and pants, they also gain a new weapon, allowing them to do less
I like how you added in pants.
acrobatics than Nago. Also, this form debuted July 16, 2023, meaning that this aired a week before the 4 Aces movie of July 28, 2023. And Gachan's also in that movie, so we know where the rest of the suit design and budget got primarily focused to. Having Fantasy just having beat on the legs would make sense, yes, but I do feel that like that would have been too much for her to do all her jumping and flipping and jumping and stuff. I said jumping like 9 times. Let me just keep moving. Again, this is just me speculating based on things I've seen. Don't take it as gospel. It's more of a headcanon thought. From a story standpoint, by truly accepting that she is who she is, Neon is able to properly stand on business for God's plan and put the pots and pans to Beruba.
I will say though, I think they at least they could have added some designs on the little leg pieces, you know, like a little bit to at least make it match the top outfit a little bit more instead of going straight black. But that's just what I'm thinking about.
Continued source of not only her misery, but the misery of others. Don't forget, she's partially responsible for Sarah's death, a character who played a very important role in Neon's life as well. By defying Bearable in this way, Neon shows that despair can not only be overcome, but it can also be a two-way street as well. And even though Bearable's embarrassment wasn't broadcast live like Neon's was, she, her, Miji, and God knows what happened to her. And they all just so happen to be part of the Writers Who Beat Up Bearable Club. This form, is the penultimate change for her. Her wanting to protect happiness to make up for the happiness lost is one of the most selfless things to come out of her mouth, and comes from a really mature place as she takes her father's place in Ace's DGP, ironically making his dream come true, as his daughter is now officially knee-deep in the company, and is smart enough to know her role and what she must do to fulfill it. She literally barks at him about what he should be doing as a sponsor after Keiwa's wish caused the city to implode on itself. But by far, the biggest hurdle in all of this is Neon forgiving her parents for the role they played. And let me be clear and fair. As an IRL father, I can't co-sign any of their parenting skills at all. But if they were actually good parents, we wouldn't have this plot. So I had to Arthur Fist my way through this section of the story. After losing their child because of something out of their control, the Karamas, mostly Time Fire, abused the power they had to not revive their daughter, but to create an all-new, all-different daughter for the purpose of pushing their agenda. This in turn causes them to take controlling her to the next level, effectively keeping her in a golden cage and the metaphorical darkness about her true origin to do so. This resulted in Neon's desire for freedom and doing something beyond what her parents wanted for her, originating from her not feeling like she had an identity of her own. That pursuit of freedom birthed both her streaming and writer careers, and the trials and tribulations one undergoes to discover who they really are. Because of all the ups and downs Neon has experienced with the help of her friends, she completes that journey, resulting in her accepting who she always was, herself, and a real fucking Kamen writer to boot. This action displays to the Karamas that Neon has the strength to forgive them of their wicked actions. That forgiveness inspires change, blah blah blah. She gives Bearable them Danny Phantom pots and pans. Genuinely fucks her face up. It's fantastic. Neon is...
We over here eating good. We're over here eating good, if you ask me, for real. But I will say this though as well. Is it does show what he said is they're not good parents, because instead of just, reviving the daughter, they made a whole new one. You know what I mean? A one that would be perfect, in their head, a perfect daughter. But at the same time, she has free will to do what she wants, you know what I mean? And she took that opportunity to do what she wanted. I like this. It's a W story.
She's currently my favorite female writer right now. I personally think her story is really fun and it's impactful, and maybe it's because it feels like a Sailor Moon plotline or like a Type Moon Fate Stay plotline.
Yeah.
Probably one of them. Also, never forget, it just goes to show, even rich people go through bullshit. But yeah, man, that's the video.
True.
This video should have been out 2 weeks ago, but I got a new computer the day before the new year, and I'm gonna be honest, I was playing some games, bro. I was playing the shit out of some games instead of working.
I get you.
That's my bad.
Same here.
So I'm just gonna work on the crash out video. Use the links below to donate to the channel. Help your boy out. Give me $5. I'll pay you back. If you're thinking about...
Yeah, don't forget to give me $5 too. I appreciate you. Helping me out too. Other than that though, I would say W video. I love the video. She is one of my favorite Kamen writers. I like her last outfit a lot. Her story is really good, and I just wanted to react to it just because I wanted to know more. And don't forget to give me your thoughts in the comments down below, please. Don't forget to like button, hit the sub. Video will be linked in the description down below, and I appreciate y'all watching this with me. God bless y'all. Be safe. Peace out.